welcome to episode 26 of Debra Quilts Lots and Knits Bits. I'm Debra McCracken and I quilt a lot and I knit a little bit. Thank you for joining me. If this is your first time, I just come here and talk about the things that I'm working on, my knitting and my quilting, and just a few silly life in general things. And today is Thursday, June the 3rd, 2021. And it's a beautiful day here in Penticton, British Columbia, Canada. And I have been working on a few things. And I have a huge quilting announcement, so stick with me till the end. So I've been getting a little bit of knitting done. And I have a few things to show you. So this is the first one. This is called Pretty in Pleat, and it was a download off the Biscott Yarns website. So it's got this little pleated detail in the front of the tank top, and it's got a little ribbed edge at the bottom. I added about 3 inches to the shoulder straps just because I like it a little more room in the armhole area. And if I were to knit it again, I might knit it a little longer. It actually hits me right at the exact perfect spot, and but I just like it longer to, I don't know, I just feel like I need to cover things up, which when I'm wearing it I don't feel self-conscious or anything. But like, say if I were to make another one, and I probably will because it's quite a quick knit in the round, I'd probably just make it a little bit longer. Anyway, the yarn was called Autumn Rainbow from Estelle Yarns, and I got it at the Bee's Knees. And it's a 50% wool and 50% cotton blend. And it's actually quite nice to wear on a warm day. It's not like overheating wool sweater or anything like that. I have enjoyed it. And I don't know why I thought that it would look more summery when it said Autumn Rainbow on it. So I think I'm just gonna save it now. I've worn it like through the spring, last few weeks, and I'm gonna save it now for September, October, you know, when it's time for a more muted approach. The other one that I'm wearing is this one. I get a lot of emails from different yarn companies because I sign up for lots of email lists, and this one is called the Bels Sweater. It has this little detail at the back that I really thought was cute, and I had this Linnello yarn from Lang Yarns, and it's a cotton linen blend. I got it at the Bee's Knees again, so I whipped this up, and it was actually pretty fast. It was you knit the front and the back and put it together, and then a little I-cord around the neckline. So it actually fits me quite well. And the little detail at the back is okay. It's cute. So I think I knit the medium size. I didn't make any notes. And I might the next time, because I probably will knit another one, I might make it make the next size up. But you know, like I say, it was pretty easy. I really did try to get the stripes to match up on the front and the back, but did you notice? No. So anyway, not everything can be 100% successful. But it's going to be a nice warm top. We are knitting in the park in a few minutes here, and it's probably 30 degrees outside, so I'll be just perfectly dressed for the occasion. So my latest cast on is this little sweater. It's called the Garter Stitch Jacket, and making it in the 18-month size. Emma's going to be a year in August, so this should get her through the fall and winter. And I bought this vintage baby at the Bee's Knees, and it's an acrylic wool blend, and it's machine washable, which I think is just smart for kids stuff. Anyway, so this is the start of it. This is one of the fronts, and it's just a little garter stitch, and it's going slow, but that's just because it's going slow. I haven't been knitting a lot in the last few days because I've just been busy doing other stuff. So the other thing I'm working on is called the Amazing Maisie Shawl. And this has a little bit of lace in the solidish color. And then you get these stripes by using a variegated yarn, and you knit back and forth a little bit. So this is by Marinja Knits, and she's the designer behind the Butterfly Papillon Shawl and the Positive Vibration Shawl that I was wearing in episode 25. And I love her patterns. They're very easy to read and get through and keep your place and understand and all that. So yeah, that's fun. So the next round is another purple, round of purple, and then the round below that is a chevron of these two, the stripes going in opposite directions. So I don't know how that's going to work, but it'll be fun when I get there. So the yarns I'm using are by K-Zip Knits, and they're on her sock base, Garibaldi sock base, I believe it's called. And this one's called Grapes of Wrath. And this one is called Beautiful or something like that. It was the yarn I got in her mystery box. Every quarter she does a mystery box, and the theme this time was bees. And so it was in April. And so along with this beautiful yarn, there was a mini to go with it. So if you wanted to make a sock with a contrasting heel and toe and cuff, you had that. And it's a dark color, like the black on bees, black, gray, black. And there were some stitch markers and a beeswax candle. And the stitch markers were all bee themed. So that's fun. And I got her Galaxy box, mystery box in January, and it had a lot of fun things in it too. So the next one's coming up in a few months, so I will share her announcement on my Facebook page and get your mystery box from K-Zip Knits the next round. Kelsey's just moved back to the Okanagan, so she's going to be a local hand dyer close to us. There are a couple out there, and I've always enjoyed her yarns. I've used her glow stick colorway to do the Grinch slippers at Christmas time. So lots of fun, because it's the perfect yarn for that. Anyway, that's about it for knitting. I have a couple other things I've started, and then I ripped them out and just changed my mind or did some calculations or something like that. You know, knitting a swatch saves a ton of time, and I would rather knit like 14 rounds of 240 stitches to determine that that's too much for this sweater and these needles and this yarn and all that. So using that as my swatch, I made some calculations, and I am hopefully going to be successful the next time I cast on with 70 fewer stitches. Would not make it much easier. Anyway, so I'll talk about this quilt behind me, and then I'll make my big announcement. This is called the Blooming 9-Patch, and it's out of a book called Traditions with a Twist, and I can't remember who the author is, but I will put a link below. And this one I used the Moda Evening Mist fabric first opened my shop in 2009, I had 45 bolts of fabric in this line. And that was the first complete line I ever bought. It was the biggest one I ever bought. And it was like, oh, because I just love these colors, like the muted, soft, earthy tones. Really, they just speak to me. They're just calming and relaxing. I love the bright stuff too, but this is, you know, given a choice, this is where I'll go. So basically this quilt actually calls for 8 fabrics. And so I had this line of 45 fabrics, and you know, there were 3 or 4 in the same tone in each tone. So I thought, well, you know what? I could use a fabric here, and a different one here, and a different one here, then here, and a different one here, then here, and I could use 24 fabrics in this. And that theory was great until I got out to about here, and I got impatient, and I just finished off with the 2 fabrics that were called for in the pattern at that point. But it's pretty basic. It's a beautiful faded effect, and so you have your solid blocks and the 9 patches, and the 9 patches that are made up of the 2 fabrics that are adjacent in the solid blocks. The biggest difficulty of this one was laying it all out because it goes together on point. So you had to have quite a big space to lay out the rows so you could put them together. But other than that, pretty simple quilt. And that's awesome about that book, Traditions with a Twist, because it takes the traditional quilt blocks and it puts them together in a way that's kind of unexpected and makes some not so obviously traditional things. So it's a great book. And I just quilted this very simply with a kind of a continuous curve or a kind of a flower pattern that just went into hit the center of the block. And yeah, it's a lot of fun, and it's probably 2009 or 2010 that I made this, and it's got 1 layer of wool batting in it. So we throw it on the bed in the winter time, and we just took it off, and I was getting ready to put it into storage. So I thought, well, I'll put it up on the wall today. So that's that. So on to my big announcement. As many of you know, I have been quilting for other people for 16 and a half years on an A1 quilting machine. And I noticed last fall I was starting to have to go a little slower, and finally, after quite a few discussions with the service guy in Missouri, we've determined that unlikely, but possibly, I've worn it out. So at that point, I'm thinking, well, maybe, is it time for me to retire? Is it time for me to, you know, get a different job? Whatever it is, it's going to take some time to send the machine, because there's absolutely nothing else that we could do to it here to get it to function. So the next step is sending it to Missouri to get it fixed and serviced. And in any other year, except last year and this year, we could have put it in the car, taken it to Missouri, gone for a holiday, picked it up on our way back. And he said lots of people do that. They come and they drop their machine off to be serviced and come back. And like, I've always serviced it myself, and I'm pretty sure I've taken very good care of it over the years. So, long story short, I had lots of customers that were waiting for me to get their quilts done. called them. I said, I've got an issue and I could be some time, and everybody that could wait said, that's okay, we'll wait. And I tell you, I can't appreciate, you don't know how much I appreciate that everybody has been so patient and so understanding and so supportive, and it means the world to me. That being said, my new machine arrived on Tuesday. I thought that would be the fastest solution to this whole thing. And after, it's been about 8 weeks since I decided that the other one wouldn't work anymore, and took me a few weeks to make decisions, and I was fortunate to be able to go out to Cherry Tree Quilts in Summerland and rent their Handy Quilter Amara machine, and nice machine, and if I was starting fresh, I wouldn't hesitate to get one of those. I also talked to Cindy Schellenberg at APQS at Seashell Quilts in Kelowna, and she offered to let me use her personal machine for a few days a week, and oh my goodness, I can't, that's a very generous offer, and I so appreciate it. And I am so appreciative of the community that I'm surrounded by. Everybody has been very helpful, and I am grateful to each and every one of you, honest to goodness. I'm so excited to be up and running again and going my own speed, and oh my goodness, you can't imagine. It was like slipping on a comfortable pair of shoes that are brand new, and it's awesome. It's awesome. Randy had the machine set up perfectly. I turned the tension half a turn, and I was stitching unbelievably beautifully within a half hour of opening the box. So, yay! Anyway, I'm very excited. It was a huge investment, and you know, up until this point, I didn't really have to work. I worked because I love to do this, and now I have to work. I love to do this, and I have a lot of nervous energy built up to get lots of quilts done in a short period of time now, and now I need to work because I gotta pay for this, but it's okay. I'm so excited. So if you're on my list and you're waiting to hear from me, it'll be shortly. I'll give you a call if I don't already have your quilt here. And keep an eye on my Facebook page, because there's going to be an abundance of photos of new quilts on there in the next little while. So I, expected to be 6 weeks behind, and now I think I will be caught up by the end of June. So fingers crossed, and yay! So if you have a quilt booked, it'll get done quick. And if you have a quilt to be quilted, get in touch. You can get in touch with me through my Facebook page. And let's get her done. Yay! Anyway, thanks for watching. Happy quilting, happy making, happy creating, and enjoy the sunshine, and hopefully that you'll be able to get out and about a little bit more and see all those people that we haven't seen for a long time. My mom called the other day, and she had her second vaccine, and a few weeks later she phoned me and she said, I got a hug from your brother today. It's the first hug I've had in over a year. And you think about it and you think, oh my gosh. So I don't think that we'll be taking those things for granted ever again. Anyway, talk to you soon.